Hello students, I am Seema Gupta.
I am C. Asha Verma.
We are here to guide you regarding preparation of Paper-1 accounting and Paper-5 advanced accounting for intermediate level. As your exams are approaching, we will be guiding you how to prepare for the examination, how to boost up your confidence, how to revise the entire contents of the curriculum, how to practice more, how to present the answers in the examination, and all the examination related strategies regarding effective preparation of for the examination, how to score better marks. This we will take you through this mentoring session. Now we will take you through the PPT. This is an online mentoring session. Please note the disclaimer statement. As you are already aware that we have a LMS system where you are advised to register yourself. You can refer e-lectures which are available on the student LMS. Just register with your registration number and you can start learning immediately. This is regarding today's mentoring session. For Paper-1 and Paper-5, all the sections of the Companies Act 2013 and all the legislative amendments, including relevant notifications, circulars, rules, guidelines, which have been issued by the regulating authorities like IRDA, SEBI, RBI, up to 31st October 2015. They will be applicable for May 2016 examination. As the time is very less now and you all might have prepared, but still you have to remember that if you have missed any particular circular, any particular guideline, any particular notification for that period which has been issued by a regulating authority up to the date of 31st October 2015, that will be very much applicable. So this cutoff date is very important to be remembered. You can also refer our RTPs. You might be having RTP for May 16 examination, and if you have the July 15 edition of the study material, then only one RTP will be sufficient for you. And if you do not have July 15 edition, then you might you should refer at least 2 previous RTPs besides the earlier edition of the study material. Now, how to prepare for the subject? This is very important. As you know that we have full 100 marks, 2 papers of accounting at intermediate level. One is Paper-1 advanced accounting, which is a core paper, which is a foundation paper. Foundation level paper, it means that it will lay the foundation for preparation of the higher level paper, which is advanced accounting. It will lay the foundation. Now, what are the essentials for preparation for this paper? First of all, you should know your subject very well. If you do not know what is the content of the curriculum, what you have to prepare, you will not be able to achieve the desired objective. You have to familiarize with the knowledge inputs provided by the Board of Studies. Now, what is meant by knowledge inputs? Knowledge inputs means what all technical supports, what all technical materials we are providing to you time to time. Like, what kind of materials we are providing to you? RTPs. First of all, you have study materials, practice manual, compilations of previous suggested answers, RTPs, mock test papers for practice, and we also provide you with various e-lectures and video lectures which have been hosted on the cloud campus. But regarding all these inputs, for referring all these inputs which we are providing, you have to plan your time accordingly. Because as I know that the time is very less, today is 28th and your exams are starting from 3rd. So you only have 4 or 5 days in between. Whatever you have prepared, be cool. Now you do not start something fresh, you do not start anything new. If you have left a particular chapter, you were not able to get time to prepare for a particular chapter, you don't panic yourself. Now leave that chapter, concentrate on the other chapters. Make sure that you practice in such a manner that at least that, but from that particular chapter you will not score less marks. From that particular chapter which you have prepared well, at least you should be familiar with all the types of the problems which have been given in my BOS knowledge inputs, that is practice manual and study material. So time planning is very important. If you do not plan, you will not be able to succeed. If you do not plan effectively, you will not be able to succeed. And you have to study all the relevant materials like students' newsletter time to time to be aware of the recent developments in the area of accounting standards or banking companies, insurance companies. As this is paper-1 accounting, not necessarily banking insurance, but companies Act 2013. All the recent developments you have to be aware of it. Now, it is up to individual choice that many students prepare notes at the time of their studies, because for later revisions, they can refer their notes. They do not need to prepare the chapter again. They do not need to read the chapter again. They can skip those pages and they can just refer to their notes which they have earlier prepared. Keep yourself updated and attempt mock test paper. Right now, this as the time is approaching, as the exams are very near to you, this particular aspect of preparation is very important. You can check yourself, you can judge yourself, you can judge your level of preparedness by attempting previous mock test papers which have been hosted on the website. You can also attempt previous examination question papers and check your answer with the suggested hint, so that you can know at what standing you are, at what level you stand, and how much time you need more to revise a particular topic or a particular concept. So it's very essential. Now, regarding the syllabus, the paper of accounting is basically focused on conceptual understanding of all the crucial aspects of accounting. As we know that at intermediate, we only require working knowledge. So, for the topics like amalgamation, accounting standards, only you are required to have the working knowledge of those topics. The advanced level of knowledge will be dealt at later level of the CA curriculum, maybe final or maybe paper 5. In paper 1, you are just required to have the basic knowledge, the conceptual knowledge and the working knowledge. You are not required to solve the advanced level problems which involve the critical issues of a particular accounting standard or a particular concept. So, working knowledge of all the principles and procedures of accounting and their application to different practical situations is required. And for your convenience only, the entire syllabus of accounting has been divided into 15 chapters for the purpose of its full coverage. Now, what are the topics? First is accounting standard. Many times students ask that this is a huge list of chapters. This is a very huge list of chapters, and the syllabus of accounting is very vast. We cannot complete all the chapters. We cannot study all the chapters. We cannot make ourselves familiar with all the types of the problems. No. So now my advice to you is, do not leave any particular chapter. Even if right now, if you have not prepared for a particular chapter, then you can skip. But from examination point of view, it's always advised that you should not skip any particular chapter. All the chapters are equally important, and the question paper is a balanced one. The question paper, you cannot say that this particular question will not be asked in the examination. If you have seen the previous examination question papers, you can judge that at any point of time in any particular examination question paper, any particular topic may be asked, or the paper setter is mainly focused on the point that all the chapters are covered either through 4 marks question or through 5 marks question, or subdivision of 8 and 8 marks question may be there. So that all the topics are equally important. Now the very first chapter is accounting standards. in accounting standards chapter, what generally happens is question 1 is a compulsory question. And in question number 1, we have 4 parts. 5 marks question is there, 4 parts of 5 marks each, that is a 20 marks question. And generally, this question is generally based on accounting standards. So, all the accounting standards you should be very thorough with. I have already told you that no complex question will be asked. Only the basic question will be asked, covering the working knowledge, requiring the working knowledge of the application of the accounting standard. Now, the list of the accounting standards, you please note it. AS1, AS2, AS3. AS1 is disclosure of accounting policies. AS2 is inventory valuation. AS3 cash flow statement. AS6 depreciation. AS7 accounting for construction contracts. AS9 revenue recognition. AS10 accounting for fixed assets. AS13 accounting for investments. And AS14 accounting for corporate restructuring, that is amalgamations. They are applicable for the particular May 16 examination. Now come back to the previous slide. This is chapter 1, accounting standards. Chapter 2, financial statement of companies. As you know that now all the companies are required to prepare their financial statements in line with Schedule 3 to the Companies Act 2013. All the relevant sections which have been notified, they are very much applicable and are in force. This is chapter 2. Unit 2 of chapter 2 is cash flow statement. So, cash flow statement is also part of now financial statements, and cash flow statement is also to be prepared in line with AS3. So, the chapters are interlinked up to certain extent. We will also show the interlinking between various chapters later. Now come to chapter 3. Chapter 3, profit or losses prior to incorporation. Now, if any company wants to goes for incorporation, it is not at the same time. There may be some time difference between the date of commencement of operation and obtaining a certificate of incorporation. So, after getting a certificate of incorporation only, you will get yourself registered as a company. So, all the transactions in between those dates and what is the treatment of profit or losses during earned or incurred during that period, they will be accounted as per under this chapter. What is bonus issue? Bonus issue is basically the capitalization of profits. As per Companies Act 2030, the company is entitled, the company is permitted to issue bonus shares, but there are certain conditions attached to it, which we will see in the later part of our PPT. Now, chapter 6, amalgamation, internal reconstruction. This is very important chapter. This is covered in paper 1 also. This is covered in paper 5 also. And generally, 16 marks question, full-fledged question is generally asked on this particular topic. You may note that the topic excludes problems of intercompany holding. So, intercompany holding you are not required to bother. Average due date and account current, this is another chapter which is not generally used, but still the concept is very important, and normally the 4 marks question or 8 marks question is generally asked on this particular chapter. Average due date, account current and self-balancing ledgers. Financial statement of NPOs. There may be some organizations which are not which do not run for profit. So, financial statement, this chapter is very important. How the statement of not-for-profit organizations are maintained. Account from incomplete records. Financial statement of not-profit organization. This is a chapter which we have already studied in our previous 11, 12. Generally, we have already studied in CBSE curriculum. We are already familiar with this particular topic. What is account from incomplete records? We are also not. This chapter is also not new to us. That there may be some information which is missing, and we are asked to prepare the financial statement. In this particular question, generally the information is given to us which is not complete. Now, as a student, what we are required to do, we have to study the information given in the question completely, carefully, and then try to copy it on our answer sheet, and then try to solve all the incomplete information for preparation of financial statements. What is hire purchase and installment sale transaction? This is chapter 11. Hire purchase basically is dealt under AS 19 also. Investment accounts as per AS 13. This chapter is basically in line with AS 13. So while reading chapter 1 of accounting standards, while preparing AS 13 from that chapter, we can simultaneously prepare this particular chapter also. Chapter 13 of the study material is based on insurance claim for loss of stock and loss of profit. In this, we have two types of policies which we take: loss of profit policy and the policy which is taken for loss of stock. And the other policy is taken for loss of consequential loss policy. Now, chapter 14, which is very important chapter, issues in partnership accounts. In this paper 1, we are dealing from admission till retirement and death of a partner. The other aspects of partnership we will be dealing in paper 5. And the last one is accounting in computerized environment. This is chapter 15. Normally, a theoretical type of question will be asked from this particular chapter. Now, already we have told there are 9 accounting standards which have been specified for this particular paper. How will you prepare for the chapter of accounting standards? It is advised that after studying each standard explained in chapter 1, you refer the bare text of the accounting standard. Not right now, but there may be some students who are taking the session, who are attending this particular session, may be preparing for the November 16 examination. So they may listen to this very carefully. Like if you are studying a particular standard from the chapter, simultaneously at the same time, you are advised to refer the bare text of the accounting standard also for building strong conceptual knowledge on the accounting standard specified in the syllabus. And provisions of AS 14, accounting for amalgamations, will be applied in chapter 6 also. We have already told, and provisions of AS 13 will be applied for accounting for investment while preparing for chapter 12. Now, financial statement of companies, format of schedule 3 under Companies Act 2013 is to be applied in financial statement of companies required to be prepared for chapter 4, chapter 5 and chapter 6. There are 3 chapters in which you may be required to prepare the financial statement of a company. In all the chapters, even if it's not chapter 2, basically chapter 2 is based on preparation of financial statement of companies, but if in any of the chapter you are required to prepare a financial statement of a company, of a corporate entity, then you cannot skip schedule 3. You have to prepare the financial statement as per the format of schedule 3. Cash flow statement is to be prepared in line with AS 3. Now, amalgamation provisions of AS 14 should be kept in mind. Financial statement of NPOs and account from incomplete records. Basically, these chapters apply the provisions studied in the chapter of preparation of financial statement of sole proprietors in CPT level. So, we are familiar with all those concepts: the concept of accrual, the concept of outstanding, the concept of prepaid, the concept of calculating various adjustments, how to treat them, how to find out the amount, payable amount of expense of a particular item for a financial year. So all these concepts will be discussed over here. And investment account, we have already told AS 12 is applicable. However, if you are keeping the investment as inventory, if you are a stock broker and you are not keeping the investment as investor, but you are keeping the investment as broker, as a share broker, then provisions of AS2 will also apply, because in that case you will be keeping your investment as a inventory. What about partnership accounts? This chapter deals with profit and loss appropriation account of a partnership firm, admission, retirement and death of a partner. Now,
Some students have asked questions about the how to deal with the queries related to accounting standards. For accounting standards, students, you are advised to read the accounting standards paras which are in bold and italics carefully. As ma'am already told you, you have to study accounting standard with the help of bare text and the study material chapter given in our study material. Read all the paras which are given in bold and italics and then apply those provisions through the examples. Practice illustrations on the AS given in the study material and practice with the help of loads of questions are also provided in our practice manual for your practices. So you can easily understand the provision by the help of bare text and then apply those provisions in the questions given in study material chapter and practice manual questions. Whether India's IFRS are applicable for May 2016 examination, students please note down, India's and IFRS are not applicable for May 2016 examination. Only recently current accounting standards are applicable for May 2016 examination.
Now, what are the sections or schedules in the Companies Act 2013 which are applicable for May 2016 examination? First of all, we have told Schedule 3. Schedule 3 is basically, Schedule 3 deals with preparation of financial statements format. You have to consider this format for preparation of the financial statement, for preparation of statement of P&L and balance sheet, all the questions of the corporate entities in the question in the examination question paper. Now, what is Section 129 of the Companies Act? Section 129 of the Companies Act deals with the divisible profits, manager remuneration as per Schedule 5 to the Companies Act, how to calculate manager remuneration, what are the maximum manager remuneration limits. They are also to be dealt in accordance with Companies Act 2013 only. Now, I will give you a quick glance of all the sections of the Companies Act 2013 which have been introduced in the July 2015 edition and which are applicable for May 2016 examination. I will take you through as a short glance in a few PPTs which I will be showing right now. As per Section 129 of the Companies Act 2013, financial statements shall give a true and fair view of the state of affairs of the company and comply with the notified accounting standards. So this is clear. The vertical format is prescribed. Now, horizontal format has been scrapped. Only you are required to prepare the balance sheet in the vertical format. All the major heads are required to be shown on the face of the balance sheet or statement of P&L. You cannot say that we will aggregate something and we will show the consolidated figure only. You have to show all the major heads on the face of the balance sheet. You cannot escape through the notes to accounts, or you cannot escape through the process of aggregation. Schedule 3 sets out the minimum requirements for disclosure on the face of financial statements and notes to accounts, as I have already told. Notes to accounts, wherever necessary, should include narrative descriptions or disaggregations of items recognized on the face of financial statements. Notes to accounts, wherever necessary, should include narrative description. Now, what is narrative description and what is disaggregations? Aggregation, I have told you, like if you have some small items and you aggregate them and show a consolidated figure, that means that you are doing the aggregation of items. Now, what do you mean by disaggregation? It's a reverse of it. It means you have to segregate, you have to bifurcate them, and you have to show them as each item separately. So whatever materiality concept is applied, and applying the concept of materiality, all the narrative descriptions, all the major disaggregated items, aggregations, you have to show on the face of financial statement. If you cannot show it on the face of the balance sheet, you can show it through the notes to account. Cross-reference. Cross-reference of each item on the balance sheet and statement of profit and loss shall be made to related information in the notes to accounts. If you are showing some cross-reference of a particular item, maybe some contingent head or maybe some proposed dividend or whatever it is, you have to show it by way of note to account by specifically cross-referring to that particular item. What is unit of measurement? What unit of measurement is prescribed by Schedule 3? for companies having a turnover of more than 100 crore rupees, the figures appearing in the financial statement may be rounded off to the nearest lakhs, millions or crores or decimals thereof. Once a unit of measurement is used, it should be used uniformly in the financial statement. You cannot say that I will use this particular unit of measurement, maybe 100 crore for profit and loss, but for balance sheet I will use this unit. I cannot say that for this year I will use this unit, for another year I will use another unit. I have to take a particular unit and I should use it uniformly over a period of time. Corresponding amounts comparatives, as you are already aware that we have to give the financial statement on the comparative basis. If like I am preparing the financial statement for the year ended 31st March 2016, I am required to give the comparative for the year ended 31st March 2015, so that the outsider, if they want to compare, if they want to see my financial statement, they can judge my comparative position. They can see how much profitability is increased or what kind of net assets have been increased or reduced, whatever is the case. All the outsider stakeholders, they are always interested in knowing all these informations. Now, all the assets and liabilities are classified into current and non-current. You are already aware, you must be familiar with this schedule 3. You have been preparing the balance sheet for around 1.5 years for this. All the questions for this as per this format. All the details regarding share capital to be shown in the notes to accounts, additions and deductions to every item. All the details regarding share capital to be shown in the way paid up share capital. What is a paid up share capital? If you have any preference share capital, then you are also required to show. If any calls in area is there, then you have to show it. Addition and deduction to every item, every head under reserve and surplus since last balance sheet are required to be shown. Like what was the balance previously? What is the addition to the general reserve? What was the capital reserve? What is the addition to capital reserve? If any revaluation reserve is there, the revaluation reserve detail should also be there. However, if any loss is there from profit and loss account, you must be aware that will also be shown as a surplus under the head surplus as a negative figure. Earlier, this requirement was not there. Earlier, you were not required to show it as a surplus. Expenses are grouped on the basis of their nature, like administrative, selling, whatever is the nature, production, whatever is the nature of the expense, they are grouped accordingly and they are shown on that, but under that particular head in the statement of P&L. Any item or expenditure which exceeds 1% of revenue from operations. So, any item or expenditure which exceeds, what is the cutoff? What is the threshold limit? Threshold or cutoff limit is if it is 1% of revenue of operations. After showing all the expenses and after showing all the revenue, after booking all the revenue in the P&L account, we are able to know what is our revenue of operations, what we are earning as revenue from operations. So, if any particular item, maybe printing expense, maybe management expense, if that is exceeding 1% of that revenue, I have to show it as a separate head, or rupees 1 lakh, whichever is higher is to be disclosed separately. Now, section 129 of the Companies Act, there are some queries which we have received. After covering this paper 1 PPT, we will be taking the queries and then we will move to paper 5. This is actually today's mentoring is combined mentoring for paper 1 as well as paper 5. We will be taking the queries of paper 1 as well as paper 5. If still you maybe after attending the PPT session or maybe later, you may have some fresh queries, you can always take our guidance to our mail. Section 129 of the Companies Act 2013 states that at every general meeting of a company, the board of directors of the company shall lay financial statement before the company. What is financial statement? As per section 240, financial statement means a balance sheet, profit and loss account. Suppose in the examination, you are given the trial balance, some additional information of a corporate entity of a company, and you are required to prepare the financial statement of the company. Then what will you prepare? This is what actually which you will be required to prepare. A balance sheet, a profit and loss account, a cash flow statement. If the question has the data, the information which is required for preparation of cash flow statement, then yes, definitely yes, you have to prepare the cash flow statement. If the question is specifically asking you to prepare a statement of P&L and profit and loss account only, then you have to restrict yourself to that particular two things only. Otherwise, you have to prepare cash flow statement also, statement of changes in equity also, and any explanatory notes also. So basically, there are 5 things. In total, there are 5 items which you are required to prepare: P&L, balance sheet, CFS, cash flow statement, cash flow, changes in equity, and notes. And if the question is specifically asking you only to prepare balance sheet and P&L, then you are required to restrict yourself only to those items only. Generally, in the question, till now, the questions which have been asked, generally the intention of the question is only to ask for only those 2 things, that is P&L and balance sheet. Now come to manager remuneration. This is also another very important aspect of the Companies Act 2013. Schedule 5 to the Companies Act gives all the parameters of manager remuneration. What are the parameters? What is the guidance which is governed by that? It is calculated as a percentage of profit. Manager remuneration is calculated as a percentage of profit. How the profit will be computed? What are the rates for the calculation? They will be they are discussed at length in Schedule 5. We have given all the relevant parameters, all the relevant tools in our Unit 1 of Chapter 2. Also, this is governed by various sections and also Schedule 5. Section 197 prescribes the overall maximum manager remuneration limit is 11%. This is very important. The question may require you to calculate the overall maximum manager remuneration, and maybe some information might have been given. If you have the practice manual, if you have the study material, and you are referring Chapter 2 Unit 1, you may be having some small type of problems on this. Section 198 lays down how the net profit of the company will be ascertained for the purpose of calculating. That's what I was referring to. How to calculate the percentage of profit and how to calculate this profit. What is a percentage for a manager, director, for overall manager remuneration? All these limits are very discussed in detail in our study material. What is amendment to Schedule 2? Schedule 2 is basically, Schedule 2 deals with depreciation part, and Section 123(2) provides the depreciation must be to the extent specified in Schedule 2 to the Companies Act 2013. You have to provide the depreciation. It specifically gives you that you have to provide the depreciation as per Schedule 2. Further, if any asset is sold, discarded, demolished, or destroyed in any financial year, the excess of the written down value over its sale proceed as scrap. What does it mean? Excess of the written down value. If the machine has a written down value of 100, and say if you are destroying it as a scrap, you are selling it as a scrap, and scrap is ₹50. Suppose the price at which you are selling it is ₹50, then what is the excess? 50. That is to be written off in the same financial year. That is, you have to charge it to P&L. This is a general treatment which we are normally doing, and Schedule 2 also says the same thing. That immediately you have to recognize if any loss is there. If the book value, if the written down value is more than the price which it is fetching in the market, then you have to recognize the loss amount immediately. Declaration payment of dividend. Section 123. For the purpose of second provision to subsection 1 of Section 123, a company may declare dividend out of accumulated profits earned by it in previous years and transferred by it to reserves, that any event of inadequacy or absence of profits, if there is, subject to the fulfillment of the following conditions. Subject to the fulfillment of the conditions as per company's declaration. This company's declaration payment of dividend rules are separate, and they are giving the complete guidelines regarding the declaration and payment of dividend. Now, what you have to remember, you are not required to go through all the detailed rules. What you are required to remember is that only that a company has to declare dividend. Company can declare dividend, but out of the current year profit or out of the accumulated profit, but you have to give the after transferring to the reserves. And if you have inadequacy, if you are not having the profits, then there are certain conditions which the company is required to fulfill for declaration of dividend. After depreciation, after giving all the benefits to the previous years inadequacies, after considering all the previous year inadequacies, then you have to give then you can declare the dividend. Now, what is the concept of grossing for declaration? What is the concept of grossing for calculation of corporate dividend tax, corporate dividend tax? That is explained now through an example.
Students, now a new concepts come regarding the grossing up of a dividend. As per the recent amendment, when a company is going to declare a dividend, then it has to gross it up. Now, how will you gross up? I will explain you the grossing up of a dividend with the help of this example. For example, X Limited has distributed on 5th April 2015 dividend of 230 lakh to its shareholders. Then compute. How will you compute the CDT? How will you compute now? CDT have to compute for this 230. Before this recent amendment, you have to generally calculate CDT only the 230 into the 15% or whatever percentage given in the question. But now, for calculation of the CDT, first we will have to gross up this dividend. The dividend distributed by X Limited is total is 230. But for the purpose of calculation of the corporate dividend tax, we have to gross up these 230 lakhs. How we will gross up? For the grossing up, we will take it as a 15%. How will gross up is this? With the help of the 15%. And then add that part of the 230 plus 40% of 58. How will we calculate it? 230 multiply by 50 divide by 85. Then it will come to 40.58. For grossing up, 230 multiply by 15 divided by 100 minus 50. Then it will comes 40.58. That means आप कंपनी ने टोटल जो डिविडेंड इशू किया वो 230 था, बट ग्रोसिंग अप ऐड करने के बाद इट विल कम्स टू 270. 270 इसलिए किया गया ताकि जो कंपनी इसके ऊपर डिविडेंड दे सके उसका रेट इंक्रीज हो सके. नाउ यू हैव टू कैलकुलेट सीडीटी ऑन दिस 270.59, not on the 230. Then after add 230 plus 40.58, then gross dividend comes to 270.59. Now calculate dividend. Dividend rate is 15% plus after adding the 12% surcharge, then your total CDT comes to, after adding 15% plus 12% plus 2%, then it comes to 46.83. Now CDT is the 46.83.
So this is a concept of calculation of CDT. This is a very important concept. This is newly introduced, and this type of question is expected in the examination also, because this is on recent amendment. If the question requires you to prepare the financial statement, now there are some online queries which we are taking right now. Guhan and Guhan, you are the same person. You have asked that in case shares are bought on come right basis, when the right issue is offered on these shares, as some of these rights are sold, the amount from sale of such rights are credited to investment account. Am I right? Now, what is the issue basically? If you are subscribing to the right issue, then there is no problem. The cost of the rights is added to the investment column, the cost column of the investment account. But if you are not subscribing to the rights which are being offered to you and you are selling them in market, there are two things which will come. First of all, you have to see whether the company was offering cum right shares earlier or whether the company was offering. There was no information in the question that whether the shares were cum right or ex right. If the shares were quoted cum right earlier and there is an immediate fall in the market price of the share after they are becoming ex right. In that case only, the sale of rights amount, the sale proceeds of those rights, you will deduct from the investment cost of the investment account and you will create it to investment account. Otherwise, no. What AS 13 is prescribing us, that AS 13 clearly says that all the proceeds of the rights which we are receiving, we have to take it to the P&L account. However, if the shares are acquired on cum right basis and there is an immediate fall in the market price of the share after becoming its ex right, then definitely there is a dip in the market value due to the fact that they have become ex right. It means the proceed value should be reduced from the cost of the investment. Only in that case, the price of the proceeds will be deducted from the investment account, otherwise not. So I think, I hope the query must have been clear. I will also be explaining it through a small example in my PPT after few minutes. This is the same query, Wuhan. If the shares are bought, this is the same query. If shares are not purchased at cum right basis, where it will be credited. If the shares are not purchased on cum right basis, it will be credited directly to P&L account. It will not be routed through investment account. Tanveer, you are asking, should we draw accounts and margins with pencil? How will we be able to complete the paper? It hardly matters. You get if you get time, then you do it. If you are not getting time, you skip it. It's not like this that if you do not do this, if you do not prepare the lines, if you do not draw the lines, you will lose marks. Main marks will be basically given to you on the basis of your answers. On the basis of your answer, on the basis of the presentation, it hardly matters to us. Whatever way you are drawing lines, it hardly matters. Now we can come back to our PPT. Now, I think the concept of CDT must have been clear to you. This is regarding bonus issue, chapter 4. Section 63 of the Companies Act 2013 deals with the issue of bonus shares. According to subsection 1, a company may issue fully paid up bonus shares to its members in any manner whatsoever out of its free reserves, securities premium, or capital redemption reserve. So there are three heads which you can utilize. First of all, free reserves, then securities premium, and then capital redemption reserve. No issue of bonus shares. However, there is a specific restriction attached with two heads. Securities premium account and capital redemption reserve account. There is a specific restriction attached to these towards the utilization of these two accounts. Otherwise, out of free reserves, there is no restriction. You can always issue fully paid up bonus shares out of the free reserves. No issue of bonus shares shall be made by capitalizing reserves created by devaluation of fixed assets. If you have some devaluation reserve which has been created due to devaluation of assets, you cannot use that devaluation reserve for the purpose of issue of bonus shares. As per section 52(2) and 55(4) of the Companies Act, the securities premium account, this was a restriction which I was referring to, and capital redemption reserve account may be applied by the company towards the issue of unissued shares of the company to the members of the company as fully paid up bonus shares. Basically, for purpose of issuing bonus shares, what you can do, there are two things which you can use. One is to issue fully paid up shares. You can issue fresh fully paid up bonus shares, or one is conversion of partly paid up into fully paid up. Conversion of partly paid up into fully. So if you have existing 5 rupee shares of the company, you can make them rupees 10 paid up by issue of rupees 5 as bonus for each share. So, but for that purpose, for conversion of partly paid up into fully paid up through bonus, you cannot utilize these two heads. In that case, you have to utilize only general reserve, free reserves. For this particular purpose, for utilizing these two heads, you are mandatorily required to issue the fresh fully paid up bonus shares. For conversion of partly paid up into fully paid up, you cannot use these two heads. Bonus shares shall not be issued in lieu of dividend. If you say that for the last 5 years, my company is only issuing bonus shares and we are not paying any dividend, you cannot do that. You have to pay dividend and you cannot skip dividend in lieu of bonus. Securities premium account capital redemption reserve may be applied by the company towards the issue of unissued shares of the company to the members of the company as fully paid up shares. I have already told you that you cannot use them for conversion of partly paid up into fully paid up. Amalgamation and reconstruction. This is a very important chapter because this chapter is, you have to study this chapter for both papers, paper 1 as well as paper 5 in group 2. In amalgamation, 2 or more companies are combined into one by merger or by taking over the other. It's external reconstruction. Therefore, the term amalgamation contemplates 2 kinds of activities. 2 or more companies join to form a new company, and there is absorption and blending of one by the another. Thus, amalgamation may include absorption also. Amalgamation, there are 2 types of amalgamation. Amalgamation in the nature of merger, and that is basically, there are 2 types of methods, pooling of interest method and purchase method. Amalgamation in the nature of the merger can only be said if there are certain conditions prescribed in the AS 14. If those conditions are met, then only there is the amalgamation can be called as amalgamation in the nature of merger. In that case, pooling of interest method will be applicable. Pooling of interest method of accounting will be applicable. If it is not amalgamation in the nature of merger, then it is amalgamation in the nature of purchase. If any of the condition is not met, then it will fall in the category of amalgamation nature of purchase. In that case, purchase method will be applicable. And what is reconstruction? Reconstruction is basically internal reconstruction. Reconstruction is a process by which affairs of a company are reorganized. Reconstruction, we can say reconstruction, we can say reorganization by mere revaluation of assets, reassessment of liabilities, writing of various losses suffered by reducing the paid up value of the shares or waiving the rights attached to the different class of shares. If the company is running into losses for the last few years, then definitely this is a process which the company may go for. Many times we are receiving the queries regarding what to study under hire purchase. There are 2 methods which have been declared not in line with AS 19, so they have been removed from the particular chapter of hire purchase. But still, the students are very much confused. They say there is nothing left after in this chapter, and they are still reading those methods which are no more applicable. So please make it a note. What is important is not to study rather than to study. That's why I am emphasizing on this particular thing again, that hire purchase trading account, that is debtors method, and stock and debtors method. These 2 methods which were earlier required to be studied in this particular chapter, they are now redundant. They have been declared redundant as they are not in line with AS 19 and you are not required. So you are not required to study these 2 methods. You are only required to concentrate. What you have to study now, you are only required to study cash price method and interest suspense method, which is given in your study material. Sale of rights. This was a query which was received by us and I answered. Now I will also explain in line with AS 13 again. Listen to it carefully. If rights are not subscribed but are sold in the market, the sale proceeds of rights are taken to profit and loss statement as per AS 13 accounting for investment. In this case, the sale proceeds will not appear in the dividend column of the investment account. Now, I will first of all I will explain all the paragraphs written here, and then I will take a small example where I will also try to explain it further. However, when the investments are acquired on come right basis and the market value of the investments immediately after they are becoming X right is lower than the cost for which they were acquired, it may be appropriate to apply the sale proceeds of rights to reduce the carrying amount of such investment to the market value. In that case, the sale proceeds will be credited to investment account. So now there are two things which you have to keep in mind. First of all, whether the purchase, what was the basis on which, either on the date of acquisition. Suppose I am taking a share, 100 shares I am acquiring, 100 shares I am acquiring at rupees 10 on 1st April 15. Suppose I am acquiring 100 shares at rupees 10 on 1st April 2014, and regarding come right or X right, I am not having any information. Nothing is mentioned. Only thing is given in the question that on 1/6/50, the company is giving rights 1:1. That means, as an investor, I am having 100 shares. Now the company is giving me rights. I have the right to apply for another 100 shares. Out of these 100 shares, 50 I am applying for and 50 I am selling for rupees 2000. Now what I will do in investment account, for this 50 I am acquiring whatever the cost price is, 50 into, suppose let us take 10 only, 50 into 10. So the 500 rupees I will debit to my investment account. I will enter in the capital column, in the cost column of the investment account. What about this 2000? I will take directly to P&L account. I will not credit it to the dividend column of my investment account. I will take directly it to the P&L account. But this was the case for this particular para. This is a case for this particular para. What will happen if the information given in the question is like 100 shares at rupees 10 on 1/4/15 I am purchasing come right basis, and the shares were come right. Their shares were purchased on come right basis, and on 1/6/15 after declaration of rights, the market price of the share is, suppose, 8. So there is a fall in, it's clearly visible that there is a fall in the market price of the share by rupees 2. This is clearly visible in the information is given in the question. It means rupees 2 decline in the market value is due to the fact that the share has become X right. In that case, what I will do? In that case, this 2000 I will credit to the capital column of the investment. I will credit to the cost column of my investment. But otherwise, in first case, I will directly transfer it to the P&L account. So in this second case, the sale proceeds will be credited to investment account. So this thing you have to be from the facts, from the information given in each question, you have to decide whether you are required it to take to investment account or to P&L account or directly to P&L. Now, note that if price shares are issued during the year and year-end fall in the market value of the shares is there, that shall not be considered as immediate fall in the market value of the shares after issue of rights, and in such case, the sale proceeds of rights shall be taken on the profit and loss account only. If nothing clearly is given in the question regarding the market come right value, there is no fact given in the question. Whether there is a dip in the market value, there is nothing information provided in the question. In all those cases, as a rule, you have to take it to the P&L account, and you are not required to, as per AS 13, you are not required to route it through investment account. You are not required to credit it to the investment account. So this is a whole terminology which we are using for the sale of rights. Partnership. This chapter deals with profit and loss appropriation account of partnership firm, admission, retirement, and death of a partner in paper 1. The concepts discussed in this paper for all these topics which I have told, they have already been dealt at CPT level. So definitely there will be some more advanced type of problems will be asked in the examination related to these chapters. Now come to paper 5. Now we will be specifically covering for the amendments which are applicable for paper 5. To be aware of all the recent developments, you are advised to listen to it carefully, because in examination generally the questions are asked on the recent developments. There is a frequency that the questions are generally asked on recent development more. The paper of advanced accounting concentrates on conceptual understanding of the crucial aspects of accounting, and as prescribed in paper 1, the working knowledge is prescribed here also. The syllabus of advanced accounting has been segregated into 8 chapters for the purpose of full coverage and study. We have now come to paper 5, advanced accounting. I think we have taken all the developments, all the updations relevant for paper 1 till now. For any query, if you are having some query, if a student is attending the mentoring session and is related with paper 1 only, is taking the examination on paper 1 only, if you have any query, we will be taking the queries at the end for both the papers. Now we have 8 topics in all together. First of all, topic on accounting standards. There are 2 topics: framework for presentation and preparation of financial statements, and accounting standards chapter 2. Partnership form of business chapter 3, which covers LLPs also, and corporate accounting chapter 4, which covers buyback, issue of ESOPs, underwriting, liquidation, issue of debentures, and redemption of debentures, and liquidation, amalgamation, and reconstruction. Industry specific financial statements. We have 2 industries which are specifically included in insurance. One is insurance, other is banking, and in last we have department and branch. Department and branch, you may note that the chapter of electricity companies is no more applicable and it has been removed from the syllabus. What are the accounting standards which are discussed here, which are covered here? In paper 1, we told you there were 9 standards. In paper 5 also, we have 9 standards, but the standards are different. AS4 deals with contingencies. AS5 deals with prior period items. AS11 foreign exchange differences. AS12 government grants. AS16 borrowing cost, all the costs which you are incurring as interest for the borrowings. AS19 is very important, lease accounting. AS20 regarding earnings per share. AS26 intangible assets, how to account for them, how to recognize, de-recognize. AS29, how to provide for provisions, contingencies, contingent liabilities, whatsoever they are applicable for this particular examination. They are specifically covered in your curriculum. Now, we will be taking with the amendments which are applicable for paper 5 in this particular attempt of May 16. Now, what is SLR which will be applicable in this examination of May 16? You may note that what is SLR? SLR is basically statutory liquidity ratio which the banks are required to maintain. Where all the banks are required to maintain some amount of statutory liquidity ratio, some amount of statutory funds which they should be always having in their hand. So that ratio is being prescribed from RBI time to time, and it varies. It varies from time to time. Right now, what is the rate? As per the recent notification dated February 3, 2015, SLR of all scheduled commercial banks, local banks, regional rural banks should not be less than 21.5% of its demand and time liabilities. Demand and time liabilities, we are very familiar with. All the time liabilities are basically the FDs for a bank, which are time-bound liabilities, and demand liabilities are like bank accounts. Whenever a customer goes and he or she can demand the money from the bank and he can withdraw the money from the bank, that is, they are all the demand liabilities for a bank. We are here discussing all these things from the angle of bank. What is CR? CR ratio, CRR? CRR again, it is the cash reserve which the bank is required to maintain. The rate is being prescribed from RBI time to time and the rate is varying. So right now, what is the applicable rate? 4% of net demand and time liabilities. The local area bank shall also maintain CRR at 3% and 4%. Right now the rate is 4%. I am giving the two rates for the up to the date is this because to show the difference. Okay, earlier it was 3%, now it is 4%. To show the difference only, I am demarcating the earlier rate also, but right now for all the rate is 4%.
SLR is 21.5%.
SLR is 21.5% and CRR is 4%. You should remember that much only. What is SLR holding under held to maturity? Held to maturity category is SLR holding. You have to maintain some amount of funds, some amount of your SLR prescribed funds in held to maturity category. Held to maturity category is the category in which you have to hold your investment till maturity. You cannot sell them in between and you cannot dispose them in between. So now the rate of this category is, you have to remember, it is 22% now. It is 22% and banks are permitted to exceed the limit of 25% of their investment under HTM category provided the access comprises only of SLR securities and the total SLR securities held in HTM category is not more than 23.5% with effect from January 10. These dates you are not required to. These dates you are not required to remember. I think this is a complete notification which I am taking in my PPT, but you have to remember this rate only. That is the effective rate, 22%. That you have to remember. The other part you skip because it will be difficult for you to remember all these things. There is a revision in the date of commencement of commercial operations. Date of commencement of operations, we all know that there is some particular date which is scheduled for the bank, which the bank gives to clients for starting of their commercial operations, and there may be some consequential shift in their repayment schedule for equal or shorter duration, including the start date and the end date of the revised repayment schedule. However, it is very clearly mentioned that these revisions will not be treated as restructuring, provided the revised DCCO falls within the period of 2 years and 1 year from the original DCCO, and all the other terms and conditions of the loan remain unchanged. Generally, this type of question is not asked in the practical portion, but maybe some 4 marks short note regarding DCCO may be asked in the examination. SEBI, share-based employee benefit regulations. SEBI has also issued SEBI share-based employee benefit regulation 2014, which have replaced the earlier SEBI guidelines, employee stock option plan guidelines 1999. The said regulations deal more comprehensively with various provisions relating to employee stock option schemes, employee stock purchase schemes, as SARS, stock appreciation rights schemes, general employee benefit schemes, and retirement benefit schemes formulated by listed companies. As we all know that SEBI guidelines are applicable only for listed companies. But as per in our chapter, we are covering the accounting part from the angle of guidance note on share-based payments. So the chapter will remain same, and the problems, all the questions, all the journal entries regarding issue of ESOPs, regarding the charging of P&L account, the necessary cost charging to P&L account every year, that will remain from the same angle as given in the existing study material. So you need not bother, it's just for the sake of information that the new guidelines have come. Regarding partnership, you know that one more chapter has been introduced for LLP. Dissolution, you are already familiar with. There is a concept of piecemeal distribution and all the provisions given therein in chapter 3, amalgamation of 2 or more firms, conversion of a partnership firm into a company, and sale of a partnership firm to a company. The problems involving these aspects, maybe one or more of these aspects, or maybe one single aspect involving one single aspect, may be asked in the examination. On LLP, this is a limited liability partnership which are governed by the LLP Act. 2008. Generally, on this particular topic of LLP, a short note type of the question or maybe 4 or 5 marks question, not more than that, will be asked in the examination. You can also check the relevance of a particular topic. You can also judge the weightage of a particular chapter from previous examination question papers. LLPs were introduced by this LLP Act 2008. What is LLP? LLP is a body corporate formed and incorporated under this act and is a legal entity separate from that of its partners. It's a legal entity separate from that of its partners. So one way, LLP has the features of the company also, and LLP has a feature of the partnership firm also. LLP shall have perpetual succession. Like, otherwise the partnership firm does not have such type of feature, but it has the features of company, it has a feature of corporate entity, that it has perpetual succession. Any change in the partners of LLP shall not affect its existence, rights or liabilities of the LLP. What is buyback of securities? What are the provisions regarding buyback of securities as per Companies Act 2013? Section 68(1) permits companies to buy back its own shares and other specified securities out of free reserves, securities premium, and proceeds of issue of shares specified. So, Section 68(1) clearly gives us the sources, the heads from where you can utilize the money for buyback, and it also says that no buyback of any kind of shares or other specified security shall be made out of the proceeds of earlier issue of same kind of shares or same kind of securities. So either you have to for buyback, either you have to use a proceeds of fresh issue of shares, or you can utilize free reserves or securities premium account, or proceeds of the issue of any shares. There are some queries which we will take at the end of the session, or maybe in between after a few minutes. What are the SEBI buyback of securities amendment regulation 2013 have also come? What are the specific feature of these amendment regulations? I am not covering the concept of every subtopic, every topic in detail. I am only giving you a glance of the amendment or some specific provision which is very important from the examination point of view. Only that glance or only that quick revision I am trying to give. It's not possible for me to complete the entire syllabus of both the papers in one go. So just attend this session from the viewpoint of listening, from the angle of revision, to have a quick glance and to be apprised about the recent development only. What these regulations say is, no offer of buyback for 15% or more of the paid up capital increase of the company shall be made from the open market. So there is a cut-off rate of 15%. You cannot buy back for more than that. But these regulations are applicable only for listed companies. If the company is unlisted company, then definitely this SEBI regulation will not apply to it. So the cutoff of 15% will also not be applicable. First of all, in the question, from the information provided in the question, you have to see whether it's a listed company or not. No offer of buyback for 15% or more of the paid up capital and free reserves of the company shall be made from the open market in the case of a listed company. Otherwise, this condition will not be there. A company shall not make any offer of buyback within a period of 1 year reckoned from the date of closure of preceding offer of buyback, if any. Date of closure of preceding offer of buyback. Like the earlier offer, it might have given some earlier offer in a previous year or in a previous month. So from the date of closure of previous offer of buyback, at least 1 year might have been passed. A company shall not make any offer of buyback within a period of 1 year reckoned from the date of closure of preceding offer of buyback. At least there should be 1 year time lag from the date of closure of preceding offer of buyback to announce the fresh offer of buyback. The company shall ensure that at least 50% of the amount earmarked for buyback is utilized for buyback purpose or other specified securities. So these three conditions are very important, But remember, these conditions are only applicable for the purpose of listed companies. What is redemption of debentures? You all know that you have to redeem the debentures in a time frame manner, which is given time in the case of time debentures. As per section 71(1), subsection 1 of section 71 of Companies Act 2013, a company may issue debentures with an option to convert such debentures into either shares wholly or partly at the time of redemption. So either a debenture holder can ask for cash, or either the debenture holder can ask for shares in lieu of at the time of redemption, or both as a combined one. Section 71(4) what specifically provides is it covers the requirement of creating DRR, debenture redemption reserve, for the purpose of providing security to debenture holders regarding their redemption, regarding their repayment, regarding their safety of their money. This section has been introduced in the Companies Act. This section says clearly that where a company issues debentures under this section, it shall create a DRR out of profits which are available for distribution of dividend every year until such debentures are redeemed. In that case, it is very much visible that these are profits or free reserves type of profits which you can declare, which you can use for declaration of dividend also. From that, you have to pass on the general reserve account debited or free reserve account debited to DRR. At the time of issue only, you have to create this DRR. You cannot say that at the time of redemption, after 2 years, after 3 years, I will pass the entry. You have to create DRR at the time of issue of shares only, or issue of debentures only. The amount credited to DRR shall not be utilized by the company except for the purpose of forgery. It's very important that you have to create DRR, and you cannot utilize DRR in between. Until the time of redemption of debentures, you have to utilize only for purpose of redemption of debentures only. Let us take few queries which we have received. Ma'am, can you please once explain method of creating RDD? Creating RDD from banking chapter. RDD, I really do not understand. What do you want to ask? You mail your query, or you're advised to not to use abbreviations. Maybe I'm not getting your abbreviation. RD means recurring deposit. RDD, either you want to ask DRR, debate or discount. I really do not understand. Please ask your query again. What is meant by RDD? What do you want to ask exactly? Under question number 7 of textbook, please. I have noted your question number, and I will I will reply through mail. I will give you the mail ID at the end of the session. You please ask me the query again. I will reply you through mail. Guhan, you are asking, ma'am, will loan account come in realization account, or will it be directly paid? It depends. It depends upon the information given in the question. Even if it's routed through realization account, or even if it's paid directly, whether it's loan of the partners, whether it's some outside loan, you have to see. I think the treatment will depend whether it's a partner's loan or whether it's an outside loan. In both the cases, whether you pass it through realization account or you directly pay it through partner's capital account, if it's a outside loan, it will hardly matter.
It's doing writing, so can I just do a basic T format?
Tanveer, you are saying that basic T format, if I want to draw, I can draw through pen. It hardly matters, but it's always advised, because what happens if you write in pen, there may be cuttings, or maybe the lines are not straight. It's always advised. It hardly matters. It will not take more than a few minutes for drawing lines of each and every question. It always looks nice. The presentation is more proper. The presentation looks more proper. And what exactly happens is, suppose you have drawn a line by pen on the entire page, on the full complete page, and the question is completed only in half page, then what will you do? You will have to leave the entire sheet. You will also not be able to write the right working notes over there. So it's always advised to draw the lines to pencil. But even if the answer is correct and if you have drawn the line through pen, it hardly matters. I don't think the marks will be deducted.
For the T format?
For the T format, for the questions of non-corporate entities, you can use any formats as per your convenience. I do not mind.
Questions?
For the companies, you have to use only the vertical formats, and that too for the preparation and presentation of financial statement. For preparation of working notes, you can use anything. Like for working notes, for preparation of accounts, whatever way you are using, you can use, but only for preparation of P&L account, statement of P&L and balance sheet, you have to use a vertical format. Now we will be taking through through the PPT again for the general guidance of the students.
The relevant notified sections of Companies Act 2013 and for the other legislative amendments up to 31st October 2015 is applicable for May 2016 exam. Please students note that for May 2016 exams, all these relevant notifications, circulars, rules, guidelines which are issued by the regulating authority up to 31st October 2015. Please note that the date is the 31st October 2015. Only up to this date it will be applicable for May 2016 exams. There are some important tips for the chapter of amalgamation and the reconstruction. Some students have asked question about how should we approach the amalgamation and reconstruction and what kind of coverage should we look at with respect to it. For the amalgamation and the reconstruction chapter, both these topics are very important topics because both these topics are covered in paper 1 and as well as in paper 5. And every time in exam, in paper 1 and in paper 5, these topics covered and these cover the 16 marks. This is a full-fledged question is asked on either on amalgamation or reconstruction. So both these chapters are very important. You have to attempt these. There is one query. May I know the relevant edition of the study material and practice manual for your exam for May 2016 attempt? The July 2015 edition is applicable and along with the RTP which is applicable for May 2016 exam. Will the RTPs and MTPs provided at BOS section sufficient for the best preparation? Student, please note down the RTPs and MTPs. These are meant only for your self-evaluation. First, now the exam time is near. You can use the RTPs and mock test papers so you can check your preparations. How to answer the case studies questions. Case studies question like the how you can answer the questions which are based on the accounting standards. For accounting standard questions, first of all, analyze the facts of the case in reference to the provisions of the standards. Read the question carefully and then analyze the case as per the provisions of the standard and then apply those provisions in that case and conclude your questions. How to study effectively and remember the concepts. For this, you can refer the How to Face Study examination. It is also uploaded in our institute website and hard copy is also available for the paper 1, paper 5 and all other subjects. In this book, the key points are provided for your preparations and examination tips. Important points are given in this How to Face examination, which will help you in your preparation and give you the planning and all the other strategies. For this, It provides you the how to prepare strategy for your examination, acquaint yourself with the syllabus, assimilate all the knowledge, inputs provided by the board of studies, then plan your studies in manner that you keep time for 2 rounds of revisions after your study. Practice solve a number of good questions which are provided in the practice manual, and then prepare your brief notes and keep yourself updated. For examination, which chapters are more important? All chapters are very much important for examination point of view.
What is the pattern of the questions asked in the examination? For assessment of the pattern of the questions, to judge the pattern of the questions asked in the examination, you are advised to refer the suggested answers of all the past examinations. How to approach a practical problem? For attempting a particular practical problem, conceptual clarity is very important. If you do not understand the concepts of the topic, you will not be able to attempt that particular problem. You will not be able to solve the problem.
While attempting the theoretical questions, what important points should be borne in mind? First of all, read the questions carefully. Read all the information given in the question thoroughly and carefully, and then think it and knowledge aspects and its application if required, and write the answer clearly and crisply. At times, there are many approaches to solve a problem. How do we decide which one to follow? It depends upon the information and requirement of the problem. Dear students, there is a self-preparation strategy. First of all, refer our webcast on how to prepare. It is provided in our institute website on the subject wise. And it is also provided on the cloud campus, the e-learning sessions and the video lectures. BOS has provided loads of inputs like study material, practice manual, RTPs, compilation, suggested answer, mock test paper, student journal for academic updates and knowledge updates, and webcasts and podcast. You should have to plan your study. You should study the accounting standards topics in an integrated manner. Objective should be to gain ability in the working scenario. How to improve marks in the examination? First of all, attempt. First, write the answer which you know the best, and then attempt all the subparts of the question at one place. And then speedily and eligibly write your answer and disclose all the assumptions which you have taken clearly, and note down all your working notes, because working note is also the part of your question, your solution. Then please note here all the working notes. Prepare brief notes. How you can prepare your brief notes? For the preparation of your notes, translate your knowledge into your brief notes. You may also prepare diagrams in your support, and at the later stage, preparation you should be revised in lesser time with the lesser efforts. How to manage time in examination? In examination, 15 minutes extra is given, which is for the question paper reading. Make the optimum utilization of that 15 minutes. Make optimum use of 15 minutes given for the reading. Go through all the questions quickly. Select the question that you would be attempting from all the questions. Mark the questions which you will be attempting the first, and then allocate an estimated time for each question based on their difficulty level and marks carried, keeping aside 10-15 minutes for division and adhere to time allocated. Write each answer in commensurate with the marks which the question carries. Answers should be precise and to the point. Some students ask query about is calculator is allowed. Students, calculator is allowed, but it should be the battery operated calculator. Up to 6 functions, 12 digits and 2 memories. but scientific calculators are not allowed. You cannot use a scientific calculator. You can use only the battery operated calculator, which is up to 6 function, 12 digit and 2 memories. How to round off digits? For rounding of the digit, for example, this is 65.88765. You can round off this figure up to 2 decimal or the 3 decimal, 65.89 or 65.889.
Now we are coming back again to our queries. Shivani, you are asking about, can we use two colors of pencil examination? I think blue and black we can use. Normally we prescribe blue pen only, but I think black is
Instructions
not
is already
permitted.
given.
But from examination department, you might
A
have
booklet.
a booklet is being issued to you, and you might have got some instructions for writing the examination. You have to remember all those instructions regarding. Ramesh Pai, you are asking about the calculation of highest relative capitals in piecemeal distribution method for adjustment of value of any asset taken over by the partner and its effect on the remaining partners. And definitely, yes, the amount will be deducted, the amount of taken, the agreed value at which it is being taken over by the partner will be reduced from his balance, and it will be considered for the purpose of calculation of the relative capitals of the other partners also. Now we will come back again to our PPT. Now, regarding many students, as this particular candidate, this particular student was asking about, the time was running short for the student in the examination. So, how to utilize the effective time in the examination? You have to plan your time in the examination accordingly. Listen to it very carefully. How to manage time in the examination? You have to make optimum use of the 15 minutes which you are given for reading. At least this particular time you can utilize for the for your planning of the sequence of questions. What question you will do first, what question you will do at last, and how will you proceed, that strategy, that timetable sort of thing you have to prepare now in that 15 minutes. You are required to go through all the questions. You are required to go through all the questions quickly. You have to select the questions that you will be attempting from all the questions. You know that first question is compulsory question. You might have seen the past examination question papers. First question is compulsory and is generally based on accounting standards. Along with the first question is compulsory and based on accounting standards. Out of the remaining 6 questions, you are required to answer only 5 questions. You know that each question will carry 16 marks. From these 6 questions, from which you are required to attempt only 5 questions. The question may be full 16 marks question, question 2, question 3, maybe full 16 marks question, or maybe there may be two parts of 8 marks each. Maybe one average account current, maybe self-balancing, or besides that we have a small question on NPU. So the intention of the question paper is that the whole 15 chapters in paper 1 are balanced, they are considered, the coverage is given in entirety, and 8 chapters of paper 5 for the paper 5 question paper is considered. For that particular purpose only, we were advising you not to leave any particular chapter and to concentrate your focus on all the chapters of the study material. If you want to skip a particular chapter, you can skip a small topic, but partnership, listen the topics carefully, First of all, I will speak for Paper-1, partnership, amalgamation and reconstruction, accounting standards. These three questions will be compulsory questions. They will be asked in the examination. There will be no cutting out of these marks. 16 marks from partnership, 16 marks from chapter 5 or chapter 6 in Paper-1, and 20 marks for accounting standards. Out of the remaining ones, maybe financial statement of companies you may be asked in part, or maybe a one complete question. From profit or loss prior to incorporation, maybe 8 marks question. Normally not complete question. Complete question may be asked only on the preparation of financial statement of companies. Can we have a blank PPT?
Okay.
One time only. So now, I think this will be beneficial. Through a blank PPT, I will explain in a better way. Let us take Paper-1 first. In Paper-1, you have first question 1. This is a complete examination question paper design, which I am discussing with you. So, this is very important for you to listen it carefully. I think this will help you. Right now, you can accordingly plan some questions in your mind. Even you have not seen the question paper, I have not seen the question paper, but you can judge yourself in a situation like you are sitting in an examination hall. You can think from that scenario. I am giving you such a kind of playground, such a kind of framework where you can imagine yourself to be sitting in the examination hall. You can decide your strategy right now itself up to a certain extent, which will definitely help you while planning to write the answers in the examination hall. First of all, I am discussing only for the students of Paper-1. Question 1 will be based on accounting standards, and this is a compulsory question. This is only the guess work which I have done on the basis of the research of my research and experience of my study of previous examination question papers. This is not hard and fast rule, but this I can share with you that there will be not more than 10 or 15% variation between the structure of the examination question paper which I am discussing with you right now and the structure of the examination question paper which you will face or which you will see in the examination hall on 3rd May. This is very sure. So question number 1 will be based on AS. It will be compulsory question. You know, there are 9 accounting standards only which will be asked in the examination. Simple questions, they will be simple questions. Little bit of case study will be involved in those questions. You will be asked to give the concrete judgment in line with the provision of AS. You will not be required to quote the para number of AS. If you do not know the para number, you do not quote the para number. Otherwise, you may lose marks by quoting the wrong para number. So better to skip the para number. Just give the judgment in line with the provision of AS. Do not write vague answers. Please see the requirement of the question, what the question is demanding, what conclusion you have to give, and what you are writing in your answer. You see it. Maybe it should not be like this, that the requirement of the question was something else and you are giving the conclusion in some other direction. You give straightforward answer, yes or no, whether the treatment of the accountant is correct. Generally, what type of question based on accounting standards are asked in the examination? You are giving a particular scenario. You are asked to judge or comment on the accounting treatment done by the accountant in that particular scenario, and you have to see whether the treatment done by the company is correct or not. If correct, then you have to justify why yes. If not, then you have to justify why no. And then you have, if it is no, then you have to give the correct one also, correct treatment, what should have been there. So, come to question number 2. Question number 1 is very sure that this will be question number 1 itself. Regarding question number 2, question number 3, it's my guesswork only. The sequence of the question may differ. The sequence of the question may differ. But that much I will show that approximately weightage which I am prescribing will not vary. Should not be varying based on my experience of working here as faculty. Question number 2 generally will be of 16 marks, preparation of financial statements, or it may be partnership, or it may be both. Normally, normally what will happen, question number 3 will be partnership. In lieu of this, we have or 2A, incorporation, pre-incorporation or post-incorporation, or 2B, maybe average due date or account. This is generally the combination which is asked. So this is question 1, question number 2, question number 3. Question 4, short question on amalgamation or reconstruction.
16 marks question.
It will be all questions. This is 20 marks, and all other questions will be 16 marks. 20 plus 16 into 5 comes to 100. There will be 6 questions of 16 marks each, and 1 question of 20 marks. The paper will be of 116 marks, out of which you will be required to attempt only 100 marks. What about question number 5 and question number 6? Question number 5 will be either based on investment or insurance claim. A part may be of investment, B part may be of insurance claim, and question number 6 will be maybe NPO, full-fledged question, or maybe account from incomplete record, full-fledged question of 16 marks. And what will be question number 7? All know, you all know. Question number 7, 4 marks into 5 parts will be given to you, out of which you will be required to attempt only 4. There will be short note based question, maybe some AS theoretical question may be asked, or maybe very short question on NPA, NPO, average due date account current. Whatever chapter is left over here, that will be asked in the question number 7. This is the entire structure of question paper of paper 1. This was one thing which I generally do not discuss, but I am discussing right now for benefit, for your benefit, as the exams are very near, and I want to give complete guidance to you regarding the question paper, as many students were saying now that they were not able to attempt the examination question paper in time. So at least now you will have the idea. Now you will have the idea to of the background of the question paper, of the framework of the question paper, and then you can plan accordingly how to attempt the answers. Now I think paper 1 is complete. Now we will have to clear the screen for paper 5. Now we will guide you about paper 5. If any student who is taking the session, who is attending the session, is not appearing in paper 5, you may lead the session, and only the paper 5 students are required to concentrate and required to sit for the session. If you are appearing for both the groups, then you listen to this also. The structure of the question paper, if we are able to analyze the structure of the question paper, if we are able to analyze, we are very in a beneficial position, because at the time of examination we will not see from a fresh angle. We know that this type of question paper we have already seen, and what important is that we do not get panic. Our confidence level is not shattered, because we know that this type of the structure will be there in the examination. And one more thing, you please right now I will not advise you to go to any other book or to solve the entire questions of the study material, but still I will advise you to at least solve the questions given in the practice manual. If while attempting the examination you will see the question and the question will look familiar to you, your confidence level will automatically shoot up. You will say, you will yourself say that this question I have seen in the examination. Yes, I have done this question. I will definitely do. And plan your time accordingly. Little bit of time, 5-10 minutes, you keep for revision at the time of, and after completion of your entire 6 questions. After completion of entire 6 questions, you will, so that you can revise your answers. And it may happen sometimes that first workings may be wrong, and you may think that no, this adjustment was not correct. let me revise. Then in revision of the answers, you may take more than 10 minutes because a particular adjustment, a particular amount may appear in 2 or more accounts simultaneously. Then this type of problem is very important accounts that you have to see the question carefully and you have to account for each and every adjustment very carefully because many accounts are simultaneously involved. If one particular adjustment you are putting wrong in, suppose it's an NPO question and one particular adjustment you are able to calculate stock consumed wrongly. Now what will happen? It will go in the P&L account also, the profit amount also will be incorrect. The balance sheet also will be incorrect. Suppose you have prepared opening balance sheet, you were also required to prepare opening balance sheet for calculation of capital reserve. So if that figure is wrong, the next balance sheet will also be wrong. The current balance sheet will also be wrong. So simultaneously many heads or many accounts are involved for a particular head. So you have to, and what I face whenever the student come to me and say, they come to us with their answer sheet and they say that they have done correct, or they ask us on telephone that they had done correctly but they still were not able to attempt good marks. Then what we can advise to them is, you please try to complete the question paper in time. And what else? They skip the figures. They do not read the figures given in the question paper clearly. And definitely, if you read the figures incorrectly and you write those figures in the answers, then definitely you will lose marks. Now come to the structure of the paper 5. In paper 5, what we have is question 1. Again, question 1 will be based on AS only. It's a 20 marks question. Now, question number 2. Now 3, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 and 7, they will be all 16 marks question, out of which you are required to attempt only 5. This is compulsory question. In question number 2, what will you do? In question number 2, you will have either partnership. That's what I am saying. Question number 1 is compulsory. Question number 1 ka sequence mein no problem is there. But out of these questions, sequence may differ. Maybe partnership may be 4th number question or maybe 5th number question. But at least this particular topic will be asked for 16 marks. That I am very sure. Then it will be corporate restructuring. Maybe amalgamation or maybe reconstruction, internal reconstruction. Then come to question number 4. Question number 4 will be either on buyback, 8 or ESOP, and B part will be on redemption of debentures. Question number 5 may be either banking or insurance. It may be either department or branch or both by A plus B. It may also be sometimes banking company maybe full-fledged or sometimes question may be asked for 8 marks only. Insurance again the same thing. It may be 8 plus 8 or it may be 16. Again it is the same thing, 8 plus 8 or 16. Or, from the 7th question we are very clear, A to E part, 5 parts will be there and you have to attempt only 4. This will be based on the complete syllabus. Any of the topics may be asked on this particular portion. So now I think we can wind up the session. Now I think we can wind up the session and we can come again on the PPT on the live session if there any queries is there. Sorry ma'am, I have not understood your answer, our answer. I want to use 2 colors of pens, one for heading and the other for answer.
For heading, you can use dark color.
I think black you can use for heading. Black is not a problem. Or you can use some darker shade of blue pen. Or for any other color, you have to ask from examination department. I think only blue and black is allowed. For writing the main answers, you have to write with only blue pen. What I know is only blue pen. Maybe some darker shade of blue or black it may be prescribed, but that clarification has to be asked from the examination department itself. Mayank, you are asking about last examination question paper. I think there was a question of internal reconstruction in which there was conversion of 8% to 9%, but in question it was 7%. Nothing was there like 8%, then we assumed it to convert 7%, but it got no, like if you whatever assumption you are taking and if you are mentioning it in your answer, no mark should be deducted for that, because as an alternative valid assumption should be there, and we try to give benefit for all the alternative answers in such type of problems. So you do not worry, do not panic from such type of situation. If there is some this type of problem in any of the question in the examination, we will definitely we are there to help you out, and you rest assured no marks will be deducted because of any such anomaly in the question paper. We will try that such type of situation should not occur, but if still there is some situation which occurs, then you do not lose hope and you do not bother. You will not lose marks because of this. You will not be at any loss. I think the session might have proved beneficial for all of you who are taking the examination for paper 1 and paper 5 for group 1 and group 2 both in this May 2016 examination. And I hope you might have listened it carefully. Best of luck for your exams. And one more thing, please note the mail IDs. If you have any query which we might not have answered, or it's not in your mind right now, you can ask at a later stage. You please note your mail IDs. We are holding the slide for a few minutes. For any queries, you can get in touch with our contact number 0120 3045 916. 0120 is our STD code. This is our STD code. This is our STD code and this is our DAC number. Me, Shilpa and Asha, we are 3 faculties over in Board of Studies. We are looking after the subject and we are here to help you. We all 3 will be there at this DAC number. Any of 3 will pick up the phone and we will guide you. For any queries, you can any queries you can mail us to the mail IDs given herein. I think you might have noted. Best of luck for your examination. I hope you do well in your exams. Thank you.
Thank you.